The Devil Wears White Part 2.
Adaisa's world collapsed until one dawn she wandered the park, the place where many went to pray before the sun rose. She knelt on the grass, trying to cry her pain out to the heavens. Her voice was a whisper, but her tears made it louder than any shout. Lakatu was there too. She was a mother figure in the church, pacing slowly in prayer. She paused when she heard the broken sobs. At first she thought it was ordinary weeping, but when she drew closer, she saw Adaisa's face, young, shattered, carrying a weight far beyond her years. "What is it, child?" Lakatu asked softly. Something about her tone, motherly and unhurried, broke Adaisa's silence. And so, beneath the dim dawn light, she poured out the story, the Bible carrying assignments, the sweeping. There are prayers that turned into something else. The false tears. The blame game, the banishment. Lakatu listened without interrupting, only clenching her fists behind her back. When Odisa finished, her voice trembling with shame, Lakatu touched her shoulder and said, "Men like him thrive because silence protects them. But I promise you, his day will come. He may wear white, but truth will tear that cloth to rags." From that morning, Lakatu carried Adaisa's pain as her own. She prayed with fire, but she also watched with eyes sharp as an eagle. She gathered whispers, pieced together patterns, and bided her time until the day the mask of holiness would fall. She looked for the perfect timing. And the perfect timing came when Efua explained what happened to her too and was ready to say it loud. After the encounter with Odisa, Lakatu had become more watchful in church. She began to notice little details she had overlooked before, the uneasy glances of some girls, the sudden silences when Pastor Kweku passed, the strained smiles. And then one face in particular caught her eye, Efua. Efua had once been among the most faithful, always present, always serving. But lately, her seat in church grew cold. She came less and less, and when she did appear, she avoided eye contact, her head bowed as though carrying a secret storm. Lakatu decided to visit her. She knocked on Efua's door one afternoon, carrying a small basket of fruit. Efua opened, startled, then forced a smile that did not reach her eyes. "Sister, I have missed you in church," Lakatu said warmly, stepping inside. "Are you well?" Efua's lips trembled. I am fine. Just busy." But Lakatu knew the tone of a broken soul. She sat down, her gaze steady. "Efua, I came because I see your heart is not at rest. If there is something pressing you down, keeping you away from God's house, I am here to listen. No judgment. Only truth." At first Efua shook her head, clutching her wrapper tighter around her. But the silence grew heavy, and Lakatu's eyes did not move away. Finally, Efua broke. Her voice cracked as she whispered, "It happened one evening with Pastor Kweku." Efua's voice trembled as she spoke, but her eyes were steady. "It started as an ordinary prayer, Lakatu. We were standing together, his hand on my shoulder. Then, slowly, it began to slide down, first brushing my arm, then resting on my breast. At first, I thought maybe it was a mistake. But no, he knew what he was doing. His eyes were closed, but I could feel his mind was not on God. I whispered, 'Pastor, mind your hand,' but he smiled and said it was the Spirit moving." Can you imagine? Spirit. I shook myself as though the Holy Ghost had come upon me, but his hand stayed there until he finished praying. When he finally opened his eyes, he looked at me like I was meat. Then he said, "God showed me your face in a vision. It was dangerous, very dangerous, and we must deal with it. You should come to the mission house in the evenings for more prayers." I told him I'd ask my husband. That's when his smile broke. He frowned and said, "Two grown people like us, why must your husband be involved? This is spiritual work, not marital business." That was when I knew the man I thought was God's servant was nothing but a liar. I went home and told Kwame everything. But my husband? He laughed in my face. He called it blasphemy to accuse the pastor. He said I should never speak of it again. From that day, I stayed away from him. But Lakatu, the shame, the anger, it's still burning inside me. Lakatu listened, her chest tightening with every word. First Odisa, and now Efua. 2 stories, 1 pattern. Her hands curled into fists. The time had come. She leaned closer, her voice low but steady. Efua, will you help me expose him if I decide to? She nodded. She looked for the perfect timing. And the perfect timing came one hot Sunday. While the pastor thundered from the pulpit, sweat glistening on his white cassock, Lakatu rose to her feet. Her voice cut through his sermon like a knife through yam. Church, listen. The man you call shepherd has been hunting women like a dog chasing fowl. He calls at midnight. He lays his hands where they do not belong. The devil does not wear red, today, he wears white. The congregation gasped. The ushers rushed to silence her. Some covered their mouths, others shook their heads. Pastor Kweku stammered, but his words tangled like a thief caught in daylight. And then, as the ushers dragged Lakatu away, another young woman stood. It is true, she cried. Another followed, he did the same to me. And another. And another. That very day, the mask of holiness fell. Women whispered their stories aloud at last. Men bowed their heads in shame. The cassock of white became a rag of disgrace. When Efua reached home, her husband wept at her feet. Forgive me for not believing. She lifted him gently. A lie may shine like lightning, but truth stands like the sun. And the people learned the devil does not always come with horns. Sometimes he comes in spotless white, smiling, and carrying a Bible.